Hi, this is Ayanna with Black Atheists of America. Welcome to our 10th session of The Bible Actually Says. In this series, we discuss the Bible. We move through the Bible as it should be read, cover to cover. Today, I have with me Ray, who is also a member of Black Atheists of America. While we will not be reading every verse, we may choose to quote the Bible. If so, just know that we will be using the King James Version. We will start by recapping last week's show, then pick up where we ended off, and go through as many verses as time permits. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. Please feel free to comment and subscribe. Before I get started, I wanted to comment on some of the responses that we received on our episode 9 video. So the first one I'm going to look at was posted by DJ Black 1204, and he just made an observation that Noah and Yoda were about the same age, which I, number one, thought was a great observation, and two, I found it absolutely hilarious. So thank you for that comment.
And as long as we're talking about posts, Richard GWM writes, so how long were the waters upon the earth? 150 days, as it says in chapter 8, verse 3, 7 months and 17 days, verse 4, 10 months, verse 5, or 40 days, as it says in verse 6.
Let's turn to the Bible. So we're on Genesis 8, chapter 7, and it reads, And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro, until the waters were dried up from off the earth. And he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground.
Wait a minute. Number 7.
Right.
And he sent forth the raven, which went forth and to and fro until the waters were dried up. So the raven did this until the waters were dry.
Right. And then he's like, he sends the dove to see.
So why did he send the dove? The raven did
because he had to get confirmation. And 9 kind of alludes to that. So it says, but the dove found no rest for the sole of her feet, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her unto him into the ark. So yeah, the dove went out, came back, no sign of the raven.
Raven's gone.
The raven
Raven
gone.
said, I had enough.
Yeah. The dove decided to come back. He wanted to be nice. And I wonder, like, it says that Noah pulled her into the ark. I wonder if that's like a yanking, like, get back in here, or if, like, he really... I'm wondering if it's voluntary.
Well, the way I see it, where else is the bird going? He can't land on the water.
Well, yeah, they said he had nowhere to put his feet, so
yeah.
I guess he decided the lesser of the two evils.
But the raven was doing the same route until the waters were dry. So I don't understand how that's even possible, because apparently the waters were never dry, and the raven never came back.
Dove went the wrong way. Maybe he was looking at the ocean.
Yeah.
He was still in the ocean.
Yeah, maybe. And he stayed yet other 7 days. And again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth.
Yeah, Noah was sending out insurance. I mean, that was his insurance, the 2 birds. The first one, he was like, hey, go dry everything up. The raven doesn't return. He sends the dove out to follow up, and the dove returns.
With an olive leaf.
With an olive leaf. So he's like, all right, well, you couldn't have just...
That leaf must have just grown, because the rest of the leaves would have been washed away, I would have thought, in a flood that's strong enough to cover the whole planet.
Or it was buried in the mud.
And he stayed yet other 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more.
The dove was like, screw this.
I think the dove hooked up with the raven.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you?
I mean,
He sees how crazy God is. He's like, man, I am done with this. Yeah.
Can you imagine that conversation? What? You going back again? Yeah, so the dove never came back. So him and the raven, they hooked up, and they're out of here.
13. And it came to pass in the 600th and first year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry.
Makes me wonder whether it was not always dry. He just never looked out. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't stay on that boat for 150 days for nothing.
And in the second month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried.
Wait a minute. I thought it was dry in the 600th day of whatever the last chapter, what the last verse was.
The face of the ground was dry.
Maybe they should have said still dry.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, God enters back into the scene.
So he's speaking to Noah now.
He spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth.
So I think it's important to note, though, in 16 that God speaking to Noah is very specific. In 16 and 17, actually. But more importantly, 16, so we'll find out later, he is very specific as to, who, about naming Noah and the family members.
I don't get that. How come he just doesn't say, bring the family? The fam.
Because, God wants to be specific. He's like, no, you can't bring everyone. And God,
but that is everyone.
Now, but, Noah might have asked. We don't know we do know that Noah asked for his family when God was like, look, I'm about to nuke the planet. So,
You know what? I mean, not for nothing, but if I was in this family, I'd be really ticked.
And it's not only his people. I mean, these wives, in theory at least, are new people to the family. So, I mean, he killed their family.
Yeah, they had parents and all that. Killed everything. The dog, cat, everything.
Everything.
I mean, all because he didn't like all the violence that was
created by him,
yeah.
And I question the word violence because, I mean, what kind of violence? There were killings, but it wasn't. It was his fault.
God's a psychopath. Anyway, the first thing he builds is an altar.
And took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And you wonder why the dove and
it doesn't say one of.
But now we see with the doves and the dove, and the raven. The raven was really smart now because he's like, look, I'm not going back. The dove, same thing. I'm not going back. They went through all of this horrific conditions on a boat. They're crammed in there. They got these crappy rooms. They're living next to animals they don't want to be around. And then God's like, all right, after all of that, you're finally back on your feet, and now I'm going to kill you.
And he burns up all the animals.
And for what? For an offering. It's not even for food for Noah.
This is horrible. This is a horrible story.
So 21, you can read that one.
I'm still trying to get over the last one. I don't believe it. He took every clean beast and every clean fowl, except for the two that was smart enough to get away, a burnt offering on the altar. 21. And the Lord smelt a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I smite any more every living thing as I have done. Okay, I got it. So he's up there smelling all this burnt animals and stuff, and he's like, why did I ever give this up? This is great. I'll never do that again. Yeah. I mean, I went for 150 days without smelling dead animal from somebody burning them. I'll never do that again.
So the last verse reads, while the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. So,
and that's the end of chapter 8.
So now we're on chapter 9.
And God blessed Noah and his sons. What happened to the wives? He didn't bless the wives?
God doesn't like women.
He didn't bless the wives. Okay. And said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
It's not even gay. He's got to get over his misogyny.
Yeah. He's got to get over something. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, and upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered.
So he wants to impute the fear of, I'm guessing you is Noah, and his dreadfulness into every other living thing that he created on earth. He wants them to feel the same as Noah.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb I have given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. I guess he's saying don't eat anything that's still crawling.
Yeah. Is he telling them not to eat man?
Maybe.
I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what it's referring to.
Oh, maybe the next line.
And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. And at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man.
And surely your blood, he's not only a psychopath, he's a bloodthirsty psychopath.
Yeah.
He says, I want your blood. I want to smell blood burning, and I want your blood.
Not a nice creator.
Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. More blood.
And his excuse is,
for in the image of God made he man.
So if he looks like me, and you kill it.
Yeah, but nobody's ever seen what he looks like.
Well, man was made in his image. Adam was made in his image. Now, nobody knows what Adam looked like.
That's what
arguably
he says, but then he acts like he's a fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? Maybe it's like that. Maybe it's like he doesn't realize what he looks like. I mean, because does God have mirrors? Nobody's ever been able to see God, and God seems to be a little confused.
God doesn't know what he looks like.
So we're on 7.
And you be fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein.
I think this goes back to his bloodthirst. I mean, just bring more and more and more and more. I'm not gonna, wipe them out with the flood this time.
Of course not, because you see what happens when God wipes out the world. There's nobody left to burn animals. He ain't liking that.
So God's back to speaking to Noah. And he says, and God spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every living beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth.
You know, this covenant thing, I don't get it. Okay, I get God's part, but what does Noah get out of the covenant? What kind of contract? You know, in a contract, you have two parties that agree on something. You get some benefit, I get some benefit. I understand what God gets out of it. I mean, he gets to smell burning animals.
This goes back to the ark. Noah gets his life. That's what.
Well, that's not a covenant. That's extortion.
Well, in God's world, it's not.
That's like when the mob comes in. The mob comes in and says, "Hey, it wouldn't be nice if something happened to your window here." You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's extortion.
It is. But that's how God rolls. That's how he's been rolling.
Did we do 9? Oh, that is 9.
Yeah, we're on 11.
And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off anymore by the waters of a flood. Neither shall there anymore be a flood to destroy the earth.
So he's like, this is the last flood that I'm going to do.
Yeah, but what about those tsunamis? Was it last year?
They didn't destroy the entire earth. It was just like, let's just kill.
Oh, that was because of the gays.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, because God told Pat. Yeah, told Pat what it was.
I don't listen to him.
Oh, you don't listen to Pat?
No.
You don't to this? What kind of Christian are you? You don't watch the 700 Club?
Apparently a bad one. So we're on 12. And God said, this is a token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. He's really into himself. He's really like, you're going to like this. You're going to have fun. I'm getting all the benefit, and you get life. What more can I?
But you get to watch the rainbow.
The rainbow.
You get the little rainbow thing, and you get to watch that. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think that they're too happy with this contract. This is that. What do they call that? An adhesion contract. This is certainly
no collateral. Yeah. Not collateral. There's no compensation here.
Yeah, there's no consideration.
No consideration. That's the word
I'm
looking for. There's no consideration here. God gets everything.
Yeah.
And these people.
And then he defaults. And then he breaches the contract. So.
Yeah, it's like one of them Darth Vader contracts. Remember when he said, "Just be happy I don't change it some more."
He lies and lies.
And where we at? And it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every little living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh.
He's out to repeat himself again.
Yeah, he just said he will remember. And then the very next line says, and a bow shall be in the cloud. He didn't remember. The very next line he didn't remember.
He just keeps saying the same thing over and over.
And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth.
You know what's sad is that he's only saying this to Noah and his sons.
Yeah,
and he's imputing this responsibility to every living thing that he creates. Yeah. So this is a problem.
Yeah. And then if they don't do the right thing, he might wipe them out.
Yeah, he's just not going to do it via flood anymore, or via earth, or via an earthly flood, I should say.
Okay, so now we got God's memory all straightened out. He doesn't have to, remember anymore. He's got all this stuff to help him. He got notes. He's got, what are those little sticky pads and all kinds of stuff to remember his covenant. And in line, where we at? In line 18?
Yeah.
And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. What happened to the women?
Yeah, God just
God.
misogynist. He hates them. I don't even know why he would make women. Why not just have men be able to?
I'm not sure. He doesn't like them. He only likes men.
I mean, he did make it a painful process and then require the men to be fruitful and, by way of women, of course, but the men to be fruitful and multiply.
And Noah began to be a husbandman. And he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine and was drunken and was uncovered within his tent.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wait a minute. I don't know anybody who could do that. He just planted the vineyard and then he's drunk I guess it's by the evening.
It appears that way.
He plants the vineyard, he drinks the wine,
becomes drunk,
and was uncovered within his tent.
So
and Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it on top of their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward. So they saw not of their father's nakedness. Okay.
Yeah, this is really important for some reason. Nakedness has suddenly become a bad thing. Because remember, Adam and Eve were happy in their nakedness.
Yeah, but
now suddenly it's become a bad thing. I guess.
Well, so look, Shem and Japheth, they did the right thing. They went and got a garment, and
they knew he was drunk. They were good.
Figured the guy's drunk. Look, Dad's been out drinking again. All right, okay, so put this on him. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him, and he said, "Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren."
Yeah. So he decided to curse his grandkid because that grandkid's father saw him naked. Makes perfect sense.
Okay, well, let me get this whole thing perfectly straight. So Noah grows a vine, drinks the wine, gets totally wasted, and falls asleep with no clothes on. His son comes in, sees him, goes and tells his brother, and his two brothers come in, put clothes on him, well, put a towel or something on him, and this fool wakes up and decides to put a curse on his grandson who wasn't even there.
Absolutely correct. That's exactly what happened.
Okay, now I got it. Makes perfectly good sense to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, Noah's one of those guys that, you see him at the bar, they get pissy drunk, they fall over, people take pictures of them, laugh at them, post the pictures on Facebook the next day, and then they get mad at everybody who witnessed them drunk instead of dealing with the fact that they were, in fact, drunk. They just want somebody else to blame. So that's what happened here. And verse 26, and he said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant." So now for some reason, the Lord is going to bless Shem. I'm assuming the request is going to be granted. And Canaan has to be a servant to his uncles now?
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be a servant to his uncles because his dad did the wrong thing.
By seeing his father naked.
Yeah, like it was his fault for walking in the room.
Ham's fault. And it was Canaan's fault for having Ham's genes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Can't you see that?
Yeah, obvious. I mean, it's so clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to finish this chapter up. Basically, Noah lived a really long time. So, 28. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years. And he died. Quite a long life. So that brings us to the end of the chapter.
And to the close of another Bible session. And what did we learn today? Well, I've learned something important. If your captor sends you away to get information, don't come back. This is Ray signing off.
And this is Ayanna with Black Atheists of America. Please feel free to subscribe and comment. Thank you.